put this in my supervisor's report, more information about it. One of the pieces that we've directed staff is that no vehicles are allowed to go beyond the point where the edge of the sidewalk ends really with the highway department, so they're not allowed to go back to the garage bay. But it's clear as to what needs to happen, with every piece of equipment, what is it that we're taking, where everything goes, what's not accepted, what is accepted. Does anybody have any questions?
Is there any aspect of this recycle program that requires the use of our vehicles and our staff to deliver the items to a different body, a body that is not ours, that has to get on the road and go and take the recycles elsewhere?
So in the mornings on Monday, the food pantry has to literally drive by with an empty vehicle to Scarce.
Okay, so the answer is yes. That was
Yes.
never supposed to be, I'm sorry
It
if I
was-
sound harsh, that when you introduced this concept to us in the beginning, it was introduced as something that would take care of itself, that residents would bring it here, and then you had contacts who would come to this facility and pick the recycles up and take it to their facility, and now we have morphed into we're taking oil and TVs and textiles, and there's gators all over the garage and a mess all over the garage. And then I find out that we are loading up our own vehicles, using our own gas, our own insurance, and our staff, and delivering something that was never, ever supposed to be part of this issue. That cost money, that was never put in front of this board as anything to do with the budget. And I would just suggest to you that if you really want this to continue, because my suggestion is that we immediately cease all aspects of this program that require our staff to load up our vehicles and deliver it. If you want this to be a successful plan, I would just suggest that you present this township with a plan and a budget.
So again, the Scarce vehicle, the vehicle going to Scarce is the only one that absolutely must do that. And they're going with an empty vehicle anyway to
That's
get
not the
food.
point.
It's not
Staff
that-
is
So they have to-
loading the recycled goods, that is, it puts them at risk,
Yes,
puts them at physical risk, it is not what they were hired
we
to
have
do.
never had that assessed by the
Mm-mm.
insurance company. No, everything that is happening right now was never approved by this board to happen.
Back when we had the first conversation about the recycling program, more than one time, probably to the tune of a broken record, I said, what is the logistic plan? Well, we're just gonna have bins, no, what is the logistic plan? So you had an opportunity to tell us if there was gonna be an alternative plan. The staff that is here is consistently being asked to do things above and beyond their job description. We have staff pushing items, heavy items out to the garage in all weather. The roads are icy now.
Yep.
Somebody slips on that ice, that's a liability, but it's not a liability on this board because we have said for that not to happen. So I think anyone getting that directive should assume personal responsibility for giving that directive. But I'm totally 100% on board with trustee Page. I am a huge recycler. I really do value the being a good citizen piece of that. But you still don't have a clear process in place of how this works. I don't want staff hauling stuff from this building out here. I don't want them walking in the parking lot on icy roads in cold conditions. Nobody signed up for that. If I sign up to be, whether I'm a counselor or a transportation person or work in the front desk, I did not sign up to haul heavy equipment. Now, that said, if you want to be responsible for doing that, and you want to take ownership for that, and you want to take ownership for transferring those materials to the other places, I would support that.
Okay, so I will happily do that until the end of my term. It suggested from the former township administrator that he put that in the job descriptions of the staff because he didn't believe that I should be doing it. I will happily do this. So if you wish that to be the case, sure, I'll do that. So it can be
It's
another
either
board's
that or we stop.
decisions.
It's either that, either we stop it, or it's a responsibility that you are willing to assume, because you're the one giving the directive. I don't want TVs pushed on carts, heavy TVs pushed on carts from this office through this parking lot, which is on an angle, could be slippery, could be dangerous, and I want not a single person doing that.
So I did it for the first year. I will happily do it again. Sure. Any other
Township
discussion?
Administrator, no staff should be hauling any equipment from this lobby to the facilities and back, and neither should any township vehicle be used to transport any recyclables.
Trustee McGovern,
Thank you.
Regarding the recycling program, I know it's been a struggle. I know we all want to recycle. We want to do the right thing. However, the liability is huge. If we could, consolidate and create a program in which we invest in, we're still fostering a recycling experience and one that's maybe a little more established and organized. There's one, there's Fort Hill. There's other facilities. I think we should maybe look at some other facilities to see if we can work with them. It's not without, it's within reach of our residents.
Mhm.
And it's just something that they have done pat. That gives us room to work on other aspects of township. But I just don't think we have the space physically, logistically, and our staff, we don't have like the shop boy. That we don't have that position. We're not hiring that position. So that's my thoughts on the recycling program. I know it's popular in governments to conserve and consolidate. And I think it's something that we should perhaps dive into.
And Admin Mike can speak to that. We've had many conversations, he and I, he's got some really good ideas.
And I think that that can be something you dive into at, the finance committee meeting and dive into this topic further. I think amongst everybody on the board, there's a community of interest. I think what you're saying, trustee McGovern, is there are logistical challenges with our current physical space to providing the service, keeping the public safe, you know. Highway Commissioner Young has pointed out, like, the area back there at the barn, there's heavy equipment back there, they're cleaning equipment, you know, we're mixing multiple functions that don't normally coexist together. Usually a highway yard is closed, you can't get to them. I mean,
It's going to be.
Yeah, but, you know, so it's hard for like, conversation at that being today, like what happens if one of those big old school TVs with the big tubes comes in? And how do you get it from point A here, up the stairs, down the stairs, back out there? I think everybody's got a good idea about recycling. Your point, trustee, a lot of places are consolidating services with other governmental entities and partnering. We're offering shared services through vehicles like intergovernmental agreements, you know, to make sure that we're not duplicating, that we're leveraging. Maybe we're a point of site collection for a larger program. You know,
I think
Those
that's
are
one
all-
of our challenges, and we talked about that at the
Trustee
beginning, right?
Geist,
That we're not good about intergovernmental, we're not good at partnering. So Village of Lisle has a recycling program, and then a week later, we have a recycling program, and then there's one in Benedictine a week later. Like, it's nonsensical. We should be combining our efforts and the expense and the energy. This is too small of a community to have multiple things happening, just because everyone wants to say they did it.
and I'd say,
You check a
supervise
box.
with you and all the trustees on the board. I think you've done a wonderful job as a startup. You've gotten the interest, you've captured the interest. There's a community of interest to do recycling, to do better. It's just maybe you're at the point of critical mass where it may be time to say, hey, let's have someone who's an expert do this and leverage economies of scale.
so we have partnered with DuPage County. We have partnered with, we're working with the recycling coach to make sure that anyone has the ability to get the coaching help that they need with recycling. And we, every single year since I've been involved, we've been working with the Village of Lisle in their Sustainable Saturday, which is going to be in mid-March, and we'll be working with them as usual.
That'll be the first though, because last year we didn't, we had a separate.
Nope, we
recycling
did.
from them. Yes, because I remember someone from the village office asking me why we weren't partnering. So
We were
that's right.
thoroughly partnered with
Okay.
we took a whole lot of stuff and worked with them again, like we have done every single year
Okay,
with the Village of Lisle.
all right, thank you for that.
And I see trustee Robinson had his hand up.
Yeah, I know it's hard for you to hear me. I was gonna reinforce build on what Trustee McGovern had said. I think there are other agencies that do recycling in the area that we should explore, particularly TVs and electronics. So, again, I know it's hard to hear me. I think there are just, reinforcing what everyone says, what are the opportunities to partner with other organizations? I think everyone feels there's a good value, and we want to make sure our residents have a service maybe part of what we do is direct them to a service that is complementary to what we have. So that's all I really wanted to add to the discussion. Thank you.
Facilities in the area take oil,
Oh, yes, Fort Hill.
or Hill takes oil.
That's like everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you don't have to get out of your car. Right? Just push that button, lift gate goes up, they take everything out of the back for you. Yeah, my only issue,
Yes,
as
they
I've
are.
said, is the
Okay.
danger that's been created up there and then using our staff and our vehicles to deliver these items when, and that was never part of it, and I am asking that cease until we get an idea from the insurance company, whether or not
The
we're
insurance,
covered.
the
It's
insurance
like-
company has said over and over again that there is no liability that they see. So they have fully
Recycling.
mentioned that there is no other liability that they feel, other than crossing a
But
property
we're
line.
going from being a drop-off service, like a point, a drop-off point to now being a delivery service. So basically, we're just saving our residents from doing the drop-off themselves.
Right,
That's not,
We're burning gas, we're not recycling.
right, and it was
It's a
never supposed to,
waste.
it's costing us money, in insurance, in gasoline, in time from our staff, it was never supposed to, so if you, I would just repeat what I said before, if you really want this to be a successful program, Supervisor Hewitt, present this board with a plan and a budget. Just that
This is
simple.
a plan, and it has been a budget that we'll add into, so if you want that in the budget, great, we'll do that. And again, the only place that we were required to be driving past already just to get food with an empty vehicle
but we're
is
still
scarce.
using that vehicle.
Yeah.
And it usually was me, so again, I will do that myself happily.
Right, so drop it.
But the next administration may not wanna load.
Exactly, and the next board can decide what they want to do with that, and I'm sure that, again, the next administration will have that decision. Okay. Clerk Polowitz.
Did you want a motion on that? What do you want to direct?
This is possible action.
So you don't have to have action, but
Well, I think the action that we just shared, that what we just said,
so,
no
so the
vehicles.
supervisor will
staff.
be directed to,
Yes, I'll do all the work for it again, sure. Before the job descriptions were changed to include them,
that's not.
and I will
what
do all
heard.
the word.
What I
work for
heard
it,
is
sure.
that they directed you to cease any part of this program that costs the township and that also is unsafe to township employees and
Can we
residents.
make a list?
They're not telling you to do it, but just to
Very nice.
cease it. If you choose to take it yourself, it sounds like the trustees are okay with that, but that's not, they're not telling you to go do the work.
Correct.
So no employee will have to lift a finger. That is totally fine.
Yeah.
Okay, then the rest of my supervisor's report, the food pantry